Hey, top of the morning to you. 7:22, April 22nd. My name is Mike. I'm the lead consultant for TALTOA, and I am also the host of the FBTV Video Podcast. You may be wondering, hey, where you been? It's been quite a while since we had a podcast from you, Mike. What's going on? I'll get into that later on in the podcast today. But what's going on in the world? It's upside down. We all know that. But let's stick to transportation stuff. Coming up today, we're going to be talking about marketing. Matter of fact, we posted a video on YouTube yesterday. It's open to the public. You'll see it in the insider section as well if you're an FBTV insider. The video is on the subject of marketing. Now, we've talked about marketing before, but we've got a 4-part series coming up. It started yesterday. The first part of that marketing series is discussing web design, your website. If you're a broker agent, yeah, pretty good idea to have a website. Why is that? Well, because it's marketing for you 24/7. I'm not going to go over the whole video, but I'll give you some of the bullet points from it. If you're an agent, you may be thinking, why do I need a website? Well, simply put, your broker has a website. If a trucking company or even a shipper, a potential customer, if they come across your broker's website, they're going to call your broker, obviously. They're not going to call you. And your broker, they're going to work that customer themselves. They're not going to say, well, listen, I got a good agent over here. I'm going to let them work your account. It's just not going to happen that way. If you have your own website, you are marketing your business 24/7. So you have the same opportunity as your broker to attract that client to your operation. So that way you can start working their loads. That makes sense? I encourage you to watch the video. It's on YouTube on our Freight Broker TV channel. And you can find that at Freight TV. Well, Freight Broker TV, just do a search on YouTube for Freight Broker TV. You're going to see me, if you're watching this video podcast, you're going to see me cleaning out my ear, putting my finger in my ear. It's like I got water in my ear, in my left ear, and I keep on trying to get it out. But anyway, neither here nor there. Coming up today, we got Q&As, headlines, Florida cracking down on highway protesters. Not only Florida, but I just saw this morning on the news that Oklahoma's doing the same thing. FMCSA petitions to delay implementations of electronic med certification rule until 2025. Sometimes the FMCSA gets the cart way out there in front of the horse. Anyway, now is not the time to buy a used truck. If you've been thinking about buying a truck, maybe starting a trucking operation or maybe becoming an owner-operator, now is not the time because, well, we'll be talking about that today as well. IRS temporarily expands restaurant and meal deductions for businesses. That is, that's good for everybody. If you are an owner-operator, freight broker agent, start saving those meal receipts. We'll talk about that later on. Another recall. Every time we get together, we got a recall. This time it's Daimler trucks. Freightliners and Western Stars, I believe. We'll talk about that. 18,000 steering issue. That seems to be the problem, but neither here nor there. Let's talk about fuel prices. Fuel prices are down. Diesel is, not a whole lot. Half a cent this week, down to $3.12 a gallon. Gasoline up a half a cent, up to $2.85 a gallon, but it is what it is. Fuel, the petro companies, oil companies, yeah, they try to recoup some of that loss. A lot of it, they're going to blame it on the pipeline, and, well, it is what it is. I hate to see the pipeline be shut down. It puts a lot of people out of work. And I just don't know how we replace those jobs. But anyway, neither here nor there. That is for the people in power to decide what's best for the country, whether we agree with it or not. Okay, let's get right to a Q&A. Steve asked, why do freight brokers fail? And that is a very, very, very good question. Why do freight brokers fail? I get asked this a lot, and actually we've done research on this over the years. I say we, TALTOA. We've taken clients that had the same package, received the same training, and some of them succeed, others fall by the wayside. What is going on? They were taught the same thing, had the same opportunity. Some succeeded, some failed. So why do brokers fail? Well, a lot of it is in the startup period. The startup period for any business is the toughest part. That's where you're getting the wheels turning, the business growing, building your customer base, especially for a broker, because you've got to start building that customer base. And even in training, I tell our clients, make a couple hundred calls a day. That's all you've got to do is make sales calls. Sales calls are easy, boring, monotonous, but they're simple. They're simple. A lot of people think, it's sales. I don't like sales. Well, you got to think about it this way. Yes, it's sales, but not in the traditional sense. You're not sitting here saying, hey, I've got this product. I want you to give me $20 for it, or whatever it might be, and then try to talk them into getting money from it. That's not what you're doing as a broker. As a broker, you're assisting customers that have a need for your service because they need trucks to get their loads out the door and to their customer. Go over this in training. We go over it all the time. You can have a customer has the best product in the world. They got orders stacking up, but if they can't get a truck to haul that order to their customer, deliver that load to the customer, they're not making any money. Not making a dime. So that's what we're doing. We're helping them make money. In addition, we're helping that person in shipping keep their job. Now you say, how are we doing that? Well, if they can't get trucks on a regular basis to get those orders out the door, they're going to get somebody, and I say they, the shipper, they're going to get somebody in there that can do the job. So we're actually helping that person in shipping do their job and actually keep their job. But we go over that in detail in training. But what we have found over the years is that people drop the ball. Bottom line. They just don't do what they need to be doing. A lot of people romanticize being a freight broker agent. Hey, I'm going to work from home. I'm going to be my own boss, going to do this, going to do that. And that's well and good. But unless you're working, unless you're building that business, keeping it moving forward, you're not doing anything. You've got to continually work it. The thing about, I had a client the other day, I did my prospecting. I built my prospect list. No. You never finish building your prospect list. It's a continual deal. Prospect lists are potential companies that you want to contact later on down the road in hopes of them using you as one of their brokers so you can get in the door. Now, the thing is, it takes time. You've got to build the relationship with that customer. It doesn't happen overnight. Not at all. A lot of people get into this business and they want to see immediate gratification. And that's the world we live in now. So let me pull you back down to reality. You got to work for it. It's not going to be given to you on a silver platter. All right. You got to get out there and hustle it up. If you are an entrepreneur, you've got the entrepreneurial spirit. Work does not scare you. You get out there and do it, period. So, keep that in mind. Now, the other half of that equation is you've got to have trucks to move your loads. This takes time as well. You've got to make it all work together. So you got the customers, you've got the loads. Now you're starting to build the trucking relationships. Once you get all that put together, it becomes pretty simple. 9 times out of 10, you're going to be building lanes. You're going to know what truck to call to move that load. You're going to know which loads move, which loads you can move pretty easily, which ones might take a little work. But the point is, the people that don't do the work, they are the ones that generally fail. Honestly, I see no reason why anyone should fail, bottom line. In other words, what I'm saying is, if you get out there, you're diligent, you go to work, you do what you're supposed to do, you're disciplined, you've got that entrepreneurial spirit, you get the idea what I'm getting at. If you get out there and do the work, you're going to get the payoff. Now, nobody can guarantee when that payoff is going to come. I've seen some people 30 days later after they started brokering, they talking about nose to the grindstone, 30 days later, they had no nose because it was already shaved off from that grindstone, but they were making $1,000 a week. Now, that's the exception, not the rule. I've had other clients 30 days later, they were still scratching their heads, trying to get that first customer. I've had clients call me, hey, Mike, man, I'm making the sales calls. I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to do, and I can't get a customer. Well, how many calls are you making a day? Oh, I'm making a good 10 to 15 calls a day. 10 to 15 calls, sales calls, that would take me about 8, 9, maybe 10 minutes. That's not putting in an effort. You are your own business. Nobody's going to do it for you. You've got to get out there and do it yourself. Now, if you're willing to do that, yes, TALTOA can help you because we can teach you. We can go through and lay down the basic foundation. We can help you begin your broker operation as an agent via our TMP. That's the TALTOA mentorship program, where we place you through us to a licensed freight broker so you can begin your operation, start building your customer base so you can take that next step. I invite you to go to TALTOA to check that out. Matter of fact, we've got a new package at the TALTOA website. It's Build Your Own Package, and I should have brought it up so I could share it with you, but on the video. But as this is a podcast, we don't want to leave out people listening to the audio portion only. But by the way, the only people that are seeing the video, live video podcast, you can catch it live. We try to give you a few minutes notice before we go live. Not at the point yet, and you'll understand why after we get into this a little bit deeper, why we haven't been able to schedule a regular live video podcast so you know when to tune in. You understand why we can't do that coming up later on. And that it doubles as why I haven't been around too much with the live podcast or the videos or things like that. But anyway, neither here nor there. We'll talk about that in a minute. All right, so I hope that answered your question, Steve. If you've got the discipline, you've got the drive, you've got that entrepreneurial spirit, you do not have a fear of success, and I know that sounds silly, but do a search, do a Google. Go to the Google and do a search on fear of success, and there's a lot of information on that, but it's a real thing. All right, now, Florida law cracks down on highway protesters, protects drivers, acting in self-defense. Oklahoma's passed the same thing. And basically, what it amounts to, hey, you get out there and block a roadway, you protest, you're going to jail, bottom line. And if you actually get on the highway and block it, people in cars, hey, if they hit you, it's your problem, not theirs. Let me kind of read this. This is for the Florida, then I'll go over the Oklahoma. Oklahoma actually had protesters, but we'll go over that here in a minute as well. Florida. This past Monday, Governor DeSantis signed into law a bill to increase penalties against highway protesters and to strengthen protections for drivers who injure or kill a person participating in a protest on a roadway. DeSantis signed the Combating Public Disorder Bill, or HB 1, into law during a Monday press conference. The bill went into effect immediately. If you riot, loot, harm others, particularly law enforcement, you're going to jail. I love this next line. We're not going to end up like Portland. And I don't know what's wrong with those people up there. How could you let your city be taken over by thugs? Anyway, yeah, it's happening all over. coming to a town near you. Anyway, HB1 also contains measures to increase the penalties for individuals who willfully obstruct the free, convenient, and normal use of a public street, highway, or road. Under the law, the former misdemeanor crime of blocking the highway became a felony, with possible penalties of 15 years in prison and up to $10,000 in fine. And I'm all for this, as long as it's not overreach, as long as somebody doesn't use it for what it wasn't intended, because we know what it was intended. We know why it became law. We know why it's there. But anyway, the law would also provide civil protection for drivers who strike and injure or kill a highway protester in self-defense. Again, the key wording there is self-defense. Now, the Oklahoma governor signed a bill to protest drivers, or rather to protect drivers who hit riders as protesters tried breaking into the Senate yesterday. I think it was yesterday. Oklahoma Governor Kevin Stitt approved of two bills that cracked down on protest yesterday. Yeah, it was yesterday. Just as demonstrators angry about the legislation barged into the state capitol, prompting the House and Senate chambers to lock their doors. That just baffles me right there. You know, they just don't get it. The group was protesting in part one bill that increases the penalties for blocking roadways and grants immunity to motorists who kill or injure protesters on the road. Okay, I get the immunity part. Okay, so, you know, so there's going to be a nut out there. Hey, you're blocking the roadway, and they're going to strike whoever's blocking the roadway. I don't, you know, that I'm not for that at all. I don't think anybody should be. I mean, you know, on the surface, you know, after what we've seen over the past 18 months happening around the country, we think, Now, if it's self-defense like in Florida, it's self-defense. There's no getting around that. But they're protesting penalties that for blocking roadways. Period. You know, that's like thieves protesting longer sentences. No. It's just off the wall to me. What else is it saying about Oklahoma? I think that's about it. The bill would make blocking use of a public street a misdemeanor punishable. Publishable. I'm reading code copy off the internet. But anyway, it meant punishable by up to a year in prison or a $5,000 fine. The measure would also grant a motorist criminal and civil immunity if they kill or injure someone while fleeing from a riot. Okay, that kind of clears it up a little bit. But, yeah, this is nuts. We got to get our country back. You know, America's a great country. We got great opportunity. It's just everybody got a trophy and it's gone to hell. You know what I mean? I still say that. I still believe that. You know, everybody gets a trophy, and this is what happens. All right, you a driver? You in a truck? Here's a poll that's currently on overdriveonline.com. Thought it was kind of interesting because I'm old school. It says poll, manual or automated? What transmissions in your truck? Well, actually, I thought it was going to be what transmissions do you prefer? But anyway, 72% are fully manual, 12% automated manual, 16% fully automatic. And I was very pleased about this next one, 0% we're not sure. I mean, if there was 1% not sure, get that CDL. You know, you've got to know what kind of transmission you got. Me, I'm not into the automatics, not into the automated manual. What is an automated manual? That'd be like a Super 10 or something like that. I had a Super 10 one time. I liked it, but I like the manual, the full manual. You know, clutch, floating the gears, all that fun stuff. You know, that you learn how to drive a truck that way. That's driving a truck, not a steering wheel loader. What else is going on? FMCSA petitions to delay implementation of electronic med certificate rule until 2025. Think I can do that any worse? The agency previously delayed implementation date of its medical examiner certification integration final rule from June 22nd, 18 to June 22nd, 2021, and here we are 3 years later, and just when it's about to become law, nope, let's change it to 2025. Apparently, according to the story, technology hasn't caught up with what they're wanting to do. Seems to be happening with a lot of stuff. Okay, if you've been thinking about buying a truck, you may want to hold off on that right now, especially if you've been thinking about buying a used truck. Now, here's why. The price of used trucks are shooting up. They are through the roof anymore, so back off. Just like me, I'm having to replace my privacy fence at my house. I may have talked about this previously, but a year ago, I could have done it for like $16 a foot. Today, it's $23 a foot because lumber's so high. Lumber shot up through the roof, which is probably why used home sales are up, but I wouldn't be surprised if construction may be sort of down. I haven't been keeping up with that like I should, but again, I'll explain all that to you here in a few minutes. Class 8 used truck market had its best month here in March. Pricing jumping up by nearly 22% at auction, 4.7% at retail. This is all reported by J.D. Power. Late model sleeper tractors are bringing the highest pricing. Since J.D. Power began tracking the segment in 2015, and jumping almost 40% from February to an average of $69,556 for a model year 2018. So a 3-year-old truck, $70,000. That's with a sleeper, obviously. Now, the average sleeper tractor retailed in March was 68 months old. Had 458,000 miles on it, 500,000, you might as well say, 500,000 miles. And was bought for $57,500. The average truck was 3 months newer, had 2% more miles, and was selling for 4.7% more money versus February. So why is this? Well, they're saying supply chain shortages, and now an assembly plant strike. That's a Volvo strike, UAW Volvo plant. I believe up in New York, New Jersey, got on strike. Pretty much backing up new truck builds. And I get this. Here's something else. This isn't about trucking, but kind of the same thing. I was planning on getting a new boat this year, trading mine in, getting a new boat. I was going to get the Tracker Pro 195 Tournament Edition. Trade my little 160 in for that. Bigger boat. I was really looking forward to it. Matter of fact, I started that process back in, November? Maybe December? Called the dealer. Yeah, I got one on order. It's going to have a dual tandem axle. It's got this. It was maxed out. And I go, I want that boat. Call me when it gets here. I'll come in. We'll do all the paperwork and get it taken care of. So we get past first of the year. He said it'd be a couple of months before it got in, so I wasn't too worried about it. I wasn't wanting to do anything in the middle of winter anyway. But end of February, 1st of March, I was getting a little anxious. I was ready for the boat. So I called the dealer. No, it's not here yet. It should be here in the next couple of weeks. A couple of weeks go by. I called expecting them to say, yeah, it's here. But what I get is no, a Tracker canceled the order. Unless you pay for it up front, Tracker's not going to build it. That's what they told me. And I contacted Tracker to find out that's right. And they said, pretty much. Pretty much. So, that's $35,000 Tracker lost. I'll just keep my boat. If I trade it in, I'll trade it on something else. Maybe go fiberglass. You never know. My Tracker is an aluminum, and I like it. You know, when I first bought the silly thing a couple of years ago, I kind of went inexpensive. Matter of fact, it's Pro 160. They did away with 160 because they really pushing this classic bass boat Tracker. From 30 years ago, whatever. That was people couldn't afford to buy a big bass boat. They were able to get one of those for like next to nothing. But anyway, that's pretty much what mine was. But the difference between mine and the classics, at least when I bought it, because they had the classics coming out there, a special edition thing. You get it for under $2,000 or $10,000 rather. And the Pro 160s had a higher grade aluminum. It was more solid. At least that's the way I read it. So I don't know what they're doing now. But anyway, they've done away with Pro 160 because Pro 160 was just a notch above the classic. Just a little bit above the classic. So they got rid of that and they raised the prices up. Now something else Tracker has done. The prices on their boats, this is probably industry wide, not just Tracker, but they've all gone up $2,000 or $3,000, $4,000 on their boats. So that's another reason that I'm thinking, nope, not going to happen. You guys have gone nuts too. Don't get it. All right. Now let's talk about your business here for a minute. IRS, if you're an owner-operator, if you are a lease purchase operator, if you're a freight broker agent, you want to pay attention to this because this is going to help you a lot. IRS temporarily expands restaurant and meal deductions for business. The Treasury Department and the IRS this month issued guidance that temporarily increases the amount that businesses can deduct for food and beverage from restaurants from 50% to, get this, 100% deduction. So if you go out to eat, you're getting 100% deduction, 100% tax deductible. I get it. I know it's here to help the restaurants and things of that nature. I'm all for that. But save your receipts. Eat out as much as you can, get 100% deduction. Beginning January 1st, 2021 through December 31st, 2022, businesses can claim 100% for their food or beverage expenses paid to restaurants as long as the business owner or an employee of the business is present when food or beverages are provided. Just present. That's all it says, present. And the expense is not lavish or extravagant under the circumstances. Yeah, you get 100% deduction as long as it's not too much. But anyway, under the temporary guidance, restaurants include businesses that prepare or sell food or beverages to customers for immediate on-premises and or off-premises consumptions. Grocery stores and convenience stores that sell prepackaged meals are not included. If you've got a bookkeeper, you got an accountant, somebody does your taxes, hit them up. Make sure they are aware of that and save your receipts. All right. Recall. We talked about that at the beginning of this podcast. Daimler Trucks North America recalling 18,000 Freightliners and Western Stars custom chassis model 2021 through 22. According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, the steering arm and tie rod boats may have a defective seam that can fracture in affected vehicles. A fractured bolt can potentially cause a loss of steering. When I first read this, my first thought, Are these bolts coming from China? I'd like to know. I'd like to know where they were made. Anyway, there's a list of trucks. I'll read it real quick for you. Freightliner Custom Chassis Corporation, FCCC, okay. MT45, MT55, 52, S2, XB, XC chassis. We got the Freightliner 108 SD, 114 SD, 122 SD, Business Class M2, Freightliner Cascadia, Western Star 4700, 4900, 5700. Daimler Trucks plans to notify owners of affected vehicles. Thank you. Nice to know that they are going to notify owners. But anyway, dealers will replace the tie rod arm and steering arm bolts for free. Well, of course, the recalls begin. Here we go again. I always bring this up whenever there's a recall. The recalls begin June 10th. So good luck over the next 6 weeks. Cross your fingers, say your prayers, and hope that it doesn't fall apart on you. If you got questions, you can call Daimler 800-547-0712. Recall number FL884. NHTSA, their number for this recall is 21V-256. All right, wrapping up this podcast. Where have I been? Told you earlier I'd kind of give you a heads up on all this. Well, if you listen to other podcasts, watch my videos or such over the last few weeks that I've done, I know it's been a few weeks since I've done any. But you notice that said I hadn't been feeling well, my stomach and things like that. Well, thought I was getting over it, and it came back with a vengeance. And I just felt terrible. Had increased thirst, weight loss. I mean, I can stand to lose a few pounds, but this was just unexpected weight loss. Constantly tired. Just all kinds of things going on that, I thought, man, something's not right. At first, I thought it was some type of food poisoning. Maybe I got a parasite or some type of bacteria got in my belly or whatever. Finally, I'm hard-headed when it comes to this stuff. I went to the doctor. Went to the doctor last Thursday, a week ago. Today's Thursday, a week ago today. And they started running a series of tests. And before I got out of the doctor's office, they had already come and told me, hey, you've got to go to the hospital right now. Here we go again. And your blood sugar, 658. Normal is under 200. They say we can't get it down through normal insulin or whatever. You're going to have to go to the hospital so I can do drips and everything else. So I went. So I spent the day in the hospital. Actually, I thought I was going to be there overnight, but they were able to get it down. Yeah, I was diagnosed with diabetes. Now, the doctor at the hospital, he says, this can go away. It's not to the point, with 658, I thought, wow, well. By the time I left the doctor or the hospital that afternoon, they had gotten my blood sugar down to under 200. They had gave me 2 saline solutions, IVs, rehydrated me, because that was part of it. I was dehydrated. And since then, I've felt good again. Not taking insulin shots, so to speak. I'm taking these, what they call it, metrodome pills. And hopefully that's going to be it. But I thought, what a weird name for a pill, metrodome. But it is what it is. So, why am I bringing this up? Because I never thought I'd have diabetes. But truck drivers, here's the deal. You're in that truck, probably not eating healthy, not getting enough exercise, putting on weight. And not even truck drivers. If you start feeling yourself having, cotton mouth, so to speak, you got dry mouth all the time, having to go to the bathroom more. It says extreme hunger here. I did not have extreme hunger. Did I? Don't think so. Unexplained weight loss, had that. Fatigue, irritability. I didn't have that, I don't think, but you'd really have to talk to my wife. I don't think I did. I'm pretty laid back. Blurred vision. Now, here's one of the things that's really weird. In the middle of all this, my vision, I even said something to my wife. I go, my vision has gotten better. When I have my glasses on, sometimes I couldn't read stuff. I couldn't watch TV, or it was blurry. Take my glasses off, clear right up. And that went on for a few weeks, or a few days, not weeks, but it corrected itself. Slow healing sores is another thing, and I've always had things that healed a little bit slower as I got older. I just figure it's part of aging. Now, how long have I been fighting diabetes? I don't know. I really don't. I just know it came on me like a ton of bricks here about 6 weeks ago, give or take. When I really started noticing this, I mean, it was awful. Get yourself checked. I got a little kit right here. I'm checking myself several times a day. Got all that going on. You can get one of these kits at your drugstore. Believe me. If it goes undetected, and this is what they were worried about me being 658 when they caught it, was that I could go into what's called a diabetic coma, and good luck there, right? Anyways, just a public service from FBTV. Diabetes is a disease in which your blood glucose or blood sugar levels are too high. There's two types of diabetes, type 1 and type 2. Type 2 being the most common. Type 2, which is what they're saying I have, your body does not make or use insulin well. Without insulin, glucose, sugar, stays in your blood. You stay sweeter. Now, something I have been doing is charting my test when I do my blood sugar test. And I have found that I'm in the office all day. If I'm sitting in the office all day working, my blood sugar's staying a little bit high. But if I get out and do something, okay, like, Monday evening, I went to the lake, got my boat, went to the lake, did some activity. I got back, my blood sugar, I did a test after I got back. It was pretty much normal, below 200, around that 200 range. Same thing yesterday. I had to be out and about a little bit, had some meetings I had to go to. I got active and did my blood sugar test afterwards, and it was low. So definite connection there between exercise and your blood sugar, so keep that in mind. Diet, that's the main thing right now. Trying to figure out, carbs and sugars, but still figuring that out. But anyway, that's what's been going on with me for the last few weeks, why I haven't been around like I have been in the past, but hopefully all that's going to straighten itself out now. All right, very good. That is going to wrap it up for this FBTV live video podcast. You can catch it on your favorite podcast app. If you are an FBTV insider, you can watch it whenever you wish. It'll be in the insider content. So have a good weekend. Cold here, been cold yesterday and today, and here we are, April 22nd. But hopefully this is the end. From here on, we're going to start increasing in temperature, start getting back into normal spring patterns. We were 40, 50 miles north of me up in northwest Arkansas around Fayetteville, Springdale. They got snow yesterday. Crazy, man. Right now, what are we looking at? Right now, that's 43 now, but it was like 36 when I got up this morning. It was 32 yesterday morning. But anyway, all right, go have a good Thursday. Go have a good weekend. We'll talk next week. Have a good day, unless, of course, you've made other plans. I will talk to you soon.